Hello everyone, and today I'm gonna show you my presentation about the Second Punic War. So yeah, let's get started. The Second Punic War was one of the largest conflicts of the ancient world, fought between Roman Republic and Carthage for dominance over the Western Mediterranean. Yeah, this war lasted for over 17 years and started for really quite a reasons, which I'll explain in the next slide. Okay, the war spread across Spain, Italy, North Africa, and surrounding seas, involving massive armies, naval forces, and some of history's most famous commanders. It became a struggle that would determine which civilization would control the future of the Mediterranean world. Yep, there were only two countries that claimed to be a ruler of Mediterranean. It was Carthage and Roman Republic itself. Yeah, so the Second Punic War reasons. One of the main causes of the Second Punic War was the conflict between Rome and Carthage after the First Punic War. Carthage lost the island of Sicily, and before its loss, Carthage had been literally fighting for an island no matter what, and eventually lost after 6 years of struggle. And it's greatly weakened the position of Carthage. During the period of peace, Rome also took an advantage of the mercenary war in Carthage and secretly took Corsica and Sardinia from Carthage, which increased tensions between the two states even more. Corsica and Sardinia, as you can see. Another important reason for the war was the attack of Carthage on the city of Saguntum in Spain. Uh, Here is Saguntum, as you can see. Rome actually considered Saguntum its ally, so after the attack, Rome declared a war on Carthage in 218 before Common Era. And probably the most important reason is our concerns of Rome about Carthage expansion. Because, well, you see, after the First Punic War, Carthage became weaker and had serious economic problems. They couldn't upkeep their own army. The army of Carthage were mostly mercenaries, so they they needed to be funded. Yeah, the state also needed money actually to pay them. Because of this, Hamilcar Barca and later his son Hannibal Barca, after father's death, began expanding and taking control into the lands of Spain, Iberia, to gain more resources and wealth. In the lands of Spain, Carthage gained many important resources actually, from mining mostly. The most valuable resources were silver and gold, but they also mined copper and iron, which were used for weapons, armor, and tools. These resources made Spain very actually important for Carthage before the Second Punic War. Okay, the course of the war, the beginning, mm, into words. Because of the destruction of Saguntum in 218 before current era, Hannibal Barca gathered an army of 60,000 soldiers. Mostly there were mercenaries, but there was also a heavy infantry unit formed from Carthaginians themselves. So the army also included 9,000 Numidian warriors and 40 war elephants, even. Yeah. Um, Hannibal marched through the mountains. Okay, Hannibal decided to avoid fortified forts uh, by simply moving through the mountain passes. So he wouldn't attack. He wouldn't have to attack them directly. So he would save the army without mm, without any moves. So he would be just keep going forward without losing his army. The Romans didn't expect this move actually, and however, Hannibal also faced serious problems. Meanwhile, during the march through the mountains, only half of his army survived, and almost all of the elephants died. So Hannibal himself, even he lost his eye because of an infection he got while he was crossing a swamp. Yeah. Heavy losses after the campaign, but quick replacement by tribes. Yeah, despite this, despite all the casualties, despite all the losses, Hannibal was successful in recruiting people. He recruited Gallic and Celtic tribes in Roman territories. This helped him defeat the Romans twice during actually this year, during 218 before current era. First near Ticinus River and later near the Trebia River. Thanks to new mercenaries, Hannibal increased his army to 46,000 men. It's around 46,000 men. Yeah. First clashes between Carthage and Rome, Republic and Second Problems of Hannibal. So in response, Rome gathered an army of 40,000 soldiers under the command of the new consul Gaius Flaminius, who marched to the north of Roman Republic to stop Hannibal. However, Hannibal lured the Roman army into a mountain pass. So um, the Carthaginians prepared an ambush in the mountain pass. About one of the third of Roman army was destroyed, was literally wiped out, and unfortunately, Gaius Flaminius himself was killed. Yeah. After this, Hannibal bypassed Rome itself because he decided not to capture the city because it simply was unreal. His army was small and weak, was not large enough to capture such a city, and instead he marched toward southern Italy. And he just bypassed. He decided it was a smart move actually, and so after the death of Gaius Flaminius, the new consul of the Roman Republic became Fabius Maximus. So his strategy was simple. He refused to fight Hannibal in a major battle, and instead he used small attacks and destruction of supplies. It was smart. These actions actually weakened the Carthaginian army. In response, Hannibal tried to strengthen the army back with Greek mercenaries. After the rule of Fabius Maximus, the new consuls were Gaius Terentius Varro and Lucius Aemilius Paulus. They gathered an army of over 80,000 men and marched after Hannibal. Yeah. And so both armies met in 216 before current era near Cannae. Hannibal Barca had a smaller army, but he had more cavalry and stronger cavalry forces than the Romans as well. His strategy was insanely smart, in my opinion, because he weakened the center of his infantry on purpose and lured the larger Roman forces into a trap. So after this, his cavalry attacked from the back, surrounding and destroying Roman army. Because of this tactic, Hannibal won the battle, simply, without losing people. About half of the Roman army was killed on the battlefield, and many others were captured as prisoners. The survivors were sent into a punishment legion to continue serving in Sicily. There were commander who took command over them was Scipio Africanus, who will later become one of the greatest military commander during Second Punic War. Yeah, remember this name, Scipio Africanus. Okay. Okay. The rise of Scipio Africanus and Battle of New Carthage. Despite the heavy losses of Roman army and advance of Hannibal's army across southern Italy, Rome didn't start losing control over the situation, although it were really bad moves by Rome. Rome itself decided to start a land campaign on the Iberian Peninsula under the command of Scipio Africanus himself, in order to weaken Carthage and cut off its resources and reinforcements that would probably come to Italy, because Hannibal needed reinforcements. One of the most important Roman victories during the Second Punic War was the capture of New Carthage in 209 year before current era by Scipio Africanus. New Carthage was the main Carthaginian base in Spain. Well, in Iberia, yeah. It was important port, military, and I can call it strategic center and storage place for ships as well. Yeah, the city was also very important because Carthage received large amount of silver from the mines in Spain, so which helped them to pay their army upkeep during the war. Scipio knew that capturing the city would seriously weaken Carthage, and to avoid many casualties, he organized a smart and fast attack. According to historical records, Roman soldiers attacked both from the front and through a small lagoon near the city walls during low tide. It was actually pretty smart. Because of this unexpected move, the Romans successfully entered the city and captured it. The fall of New Carthage became a major turning point in the war, I would say, because apparently Rome earned a huge amount of supplies, but Carthage definitely lost its most important base in Iberia. Yeah. After this defeat, Carthaginian control in the region became much weaker. So Rome army just took a thought of Iberian island. Eventually, Carthage will fully lose control over Iberia in 206 before current era. But all right, let's move a little bit 3 years back in 208 before current era. New Carthage siege. This victory also increased the reputation of Scipio Africanus. He showed himself to be a talented and mighty commander, because it was all his tactics and tactics of his commander advisors. Yeah, I don't know how to call it. North Africa campaign, Battle of Utica and Battle of Zama. In 204 before Christ or before current era, Scipio Africanus landed in Africa and began advancing through the territories of Carthage. In 203 before current era, Scipio's army sieged Utica and destroyed Carthaginian forces. Because of this threat, Hannibal Barca was forced to leave Italy and return to defend Carthage. In 204 before Christ, the Battle of Zama began. It was the last major battle of the Second Punic War. This battle ended Carthage's hopes, completely ended Carthage's hopes, actually, yeah, to come back and formally. This was the winning battle of entire war for Rum Republic. So, yeah, as you can see, this is the map of Scipio's uh, land campaign. This is the Battle of Utica, and this is Battle of Utica, and these pictures with elephants is the Battle of Zama. So, the Second Punic War results. After the Battle of Zama, Carthage was completely defeated and forced to ask Rome for peace because, yeah, the victory of Scipio Africanus ended this war and made Rome the strongest power in Mediterranean region. So yeah, this war finally ended. The peace condition imposed by Rome were very strict and how is this word? And I would say I forget the word, like harsh, like conditions were harsh. Well, because Carthage lost all of its territories outside Africa and especially Iberian lands. The Carthaginians were also forced to give most of their warships to Rome and were allowed to keep only a very small amount of ships and small fleet. Yeah. In addition, Carthage had to pay a huge amount of silver as in order to pay off the reparations. Rome also forbade Carthage to start wars without Roman permission. This is insane, like, which meant Carthage couldn't no couldn't no longer act as a independent country, independent military state. They could not longer do this. Do it because, yeah, simply, uh, as I said, conditions were harsh. Numidians, also a Roman ally, also gained Carthage's territory and formed their own state after the Second Punic War. And after defeat, Hannibal escaped. He traveled across different kingdoms and continued to fund and advise rulers who were enemies of Rome, who were against Rome in any way. However, Rome still considered Hannibal as a dangerous enemy and demanded his surrender from folks who kept him. And to avoid being captured, Hannibal just eventually drank poison and killed himself because, yeah, they would kill him either way. So, yeah, he decided to make it fast. Although Carthage somehow survived as a city and trading center, so but it became much weaker. So, and Carthage lost almost all of its territories, about a 95%, not gonna lie. So after the war, Rome became the dominant, complete dominant, and afterward, there will be nothing that might stop them. Well, there, there will be nothing that can stop them actually. So well, except for barbarians and tribes, but it's another interesting story. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you for your attention, at least. Thanks for watching. I hope you didn't fall asleep. So yeah, I wish you a great day. Wish you good luck, and I wish you the best, guys.